Hi, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Well, yesterday when we were reading out of our book, The Legend of the White Raccoon, it was kind of an interesting day. DJ was having such a rough day. His grandpa's moving out, and he doesn't know what's going on with that Sky guy and why he tried to roll them over with a boulder. And when he doesn't know why Alfred didn't come to Sunday school either, that's not like Alfred. But one of the good things that happened was that Grandpa, who's going to be moving out and was going to be by himself, found an old paddle-footed dog. I never even heard of a paddle-footed dog. Well, he's not too much to look at, but Grandpa decided he's going to keep him, and he named him Stranger. So, we're going to read today's chapter 7. I need my glasses. A Daylight Warning. DJ led the way to Hero's homemade doghouse in the back of the Dillon home. The boy unsnapped his dog's chain from the collar and spoke firmly. "Hero, this is going to be Grandpa's dog, Stranger. You treat him nice. You hear?" Hero and the stray dog wagged their tails and became instant friends. Grandpa picked up Hero's chain and snapped it around the white dog's skinny neck. "I know Hero won't run away, but you might, Stranger, so I'll just use this little insurance on you until I see which way the wind's blowing with my daughter-in-law." Grandpa didn't say a thing about the stray dog during lunch. DJ was glad, because he already had enough problems for one day without being involved in another. As Pris cleared the dishes and Mom poured coffee for herself and the two men, DJ saw a chance to get away. "Dad, since Alfred didn't come to church, I'm going to go check on him, okay?" Mom asked, "Why don't you phone him?" "He still doesn't have a phone, and I don't like to ask the lady who runs the little store to walk up those steps and call him down to answer." Grandpa's pale blue eyes lit up. "Now, just a cotton-picking minute here, DJ. You can't go off and leave me right now." Dad glanced at his father. "Why can't he?" "Well," Grandpa hesitated, squirming a bit. I was kind of counting on DJ to back me up." "Back you up on what?" Dad demanded suspiciously. DJ stood up and excused himself. "Grandpa, I think you'd better just handle this on your own. Bye, everyone. I'll be back for supper." The boy grabbed his jacket and hurried across town toward Alfred's place. DJ felt a little guilty about leaving Grandpa alone to talk to Mom so that he could keep Stranger. But DJ was more concerned about why Alfred hadn't shown up at Sunday school. Alfred lived clear across town and down the country road on Lime Clean Ditch Road. DJ was used to walking, so he hurried down the hill towards town. The rising wind was driving fallen leaves down the deserted streets. Clouds were sliding in fast ahead of a storm. Everything gave DJ a gloomy feeling. He was almost through the small business section of Stony Ridge, near the far end of town. He was 2 steps past the local pool hall and bar when he heard the batten door squeak open behind him. The stench of stale beer and smelly cigarettes struck DJ's nostrils. A man's voice hit him from behind. "Hey, you, kid!" DJ didn't want to turn around, but his head spun as if on a swivel. Durant Skeever, the mean man from Devil's Slide Canyon, stood there. He rolled a toothpick in the corner of his mouth and spoke. "Yeah, I mean you." DJ saw Sky was big. He wasn't as tall as Brother Paul, but Sky was still a big man. Even in the autumn briskness, he wore a dirty white t-shirt with short sleeves. His bare arms, heavily freckled, were as big around as telephone poles. That's pretty big. The tops of his shoulders bulged with muscles. His chest seemed to be as wide as a barn door. Blue jeans seemed to ride low on his hips. He spread his legs wide and set his dusty boots firmly. "What's your name, kid?" The boy swallowed twice before answering. "DJ Dillon." "Well, DJ Dillon, I've had enough of your troublemaking." The man spoke softly, and yet with a touch of controlled anger. The boy licked his lips and glanced around. There wasn't another person in sight. Troublemaking? The word was almost a croaking sound because DJ's throat was so dry and tight. "I told you to stay out of that canyon, didn't I?" Sky was upset. He flexed his biceps and hunched his shoulder muscles. So this would be your biceps. So he flexed that to show the strength. Now mine doesn't look too strong. And he hunched his big bulging shoulder muscles. Mine don't look that impressive. It's government land and not posted. I posted it. The words were flat and hard, hitting like a blow, but you decided to pay no mind to what I told you. Then you let a deer out of one of my booby traps and stole them. Those snares cost money and take time to make. DJ waved towards the edge of town. I've got to go. You'll go when I say and not before. Sky took a step forward, keeping his legs well braced. Well, the man interrupted. I'll teach you to put wild ideas into my son's head. Sky took another step forward and reached out his powerful right forearm. DJ instinctively drew back, but the hand clamped hard as a snapping turtle around the boy's wrist. Pain shot through his hand and arm. DJ protested. I didn't put any ideas into anybody's head. I hardly spoke to that kid. You must have said something. Sky's hand squeezed tighter about the boy's wrist. He's been acting peculiar the last couple days. And you stopped thinking about that white coon, too. If Cletus is telling the truth, and there is such a critter, it's mine. But, DJ began, not wanting to show any fear or be pushed around. But nothing, the man interrupted. Then he added softly, you know something, DJ Dillon? I don't like you even one little bit. The bar door squeaked open again, and DJ saw the new kid, Cletus. It was against the law for anyone under age 21 to be in the barn. DJ knew that, but apparently Sky didn't care. DJ saw Cleo's dark eyes widened as he hurried forward. Please, Pap, don't hurt him. Shut up, Cleus. Go wait in the pickup. Please, Pop. Move, I said. The kid almost ran to the dusty old pickup that once had probably been pale blue or green. DJ glimpsed a gun rack across the truck's back window. He recognized a heavy rifle and double-barrel shotgun resting in the rack. Mister, DJ began again, you're hurting my wrist. Sky's lips curled in something like a smile, but had a hard, cruel look. This ain't nothing compared to what'll happen if I ever see you in that canyon again, or talking to my boy. And that goes for talking to anybody about me or Cleotus, especially the law. You hear me? Yes, I hear you. The painful grip loosened. And tell your friend with the thick glasses the same thing. You hear? DJ nodded and turned. He tried not to run, but he walked very fast towards Alfred's home. DJ didn't even look back until he dropped, panting hard on the bottom step where Alfred lived. When DJ caught his breath, he climbed the steep stairs and knocked on the door. There was no answer. DJ frowned. It's not like Alfred. Maybe his folks took him and his brother for a drive to visit relatives out of town or something. What about the dogs? DJ shuffled down the steps, pausing by the big yew tree, feeling hurt and alone and scared. He glanced at the sky. Some very thin strands of clouds, almost like spun or cotton candy, were drifting in from the south. They blocked out the sun for a moment. A dark shadow fell across the whole area. DJ shivered and ran around to the side of the house. Neither Alfred's black and tan hound nor his little brother's dog, Duger, were there. That didn't make sense to DJ because Mr. Milford never took the dogs in his car when the family went visiting. Did that mean Alfred had gone hunting alone? DJ shook his head. No, he wouldn't go without me. DJ shoved his hands in his pockets and walked back around the house. The wind in the tall timber seemed to moan. What was it Brother Paul preached about? In all things give thanks? A gust of cold wind made DJ hunch his shoulders deep into his jacket. He shook his head. How can anybody give thanks at a time like this, he thought. Not one thing has gone right in the last few days. There's no way God can expect me to believe that this is his will. With his head down, DJ walked in front of the little store that stood between the Milfords' rented house and the paved country road. Where was Alfred? If DJ could just talk with his friend, maybe things would look better. As he passed in front of the little store, the red door swung open so hard it hit DJ in the left shoulder. A gray-haired lady with half glasses clutched a big grocery bag. Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Are you hurt? Now, half glasses would be, and I've seen them, I don't know if you ever have, like mine have an upper half up here and the lower. They just would be the lower half. Let's see. DJ barely glanced at the woman Nah, he said, brushing his shoulder. It's okay. You sure? She shifted the heavy bag. It had pictures of 2 kids and a heading, Missing Children. There were some words under the photos. I'm sure. DJ turned and went into the town, but at the edge of the small business district he stopped. Sky's pickup was gone from the front of the bar, but the boy might still be in town. DJ tried to tell himself he wasn't really afraid, but there was no sense taking chances running into that man again. DJ turned sharply to his right and cut over to a side street. He'd only gone a few feet when a man's voice hailed him. Hey, DJ! Instinctively, the boy whirled. His heart leaped into his mouth. He hadn't heard the car pull up on the curb beside him. Oh, Brother Paul, Mrs. Stagg, he said with relief. He bent to look in the front seat where they were. Then he saw their daughter in the back. Hi, Kathy. The lay preacher had leaned across his wife's lap so they could talk through the open window. Get in, DJ. I'll give you a lift home. The boy accepted immediately. He reached for the back door handle and slid in beside Kathy. She smiled and the whole car seemed to light up. Been over to Alfred's? She asked, shoving a brown paper sack out of the way. Yes, but he's not home. DJ suddenly wished Brother Paul was alone. It'd be okay to tell him about the new boy and the mean father, or whoever Sky was, but DJ didn't feel comfortable talking about such things in front of Mrs. Staggs or Kathy. We ran out of milk, Mrs. Staggs said, turning in the seat, so we all decided to take a drive together and enjoy the autumn leaves before the storms come. We picked up the milk on our way home. Can you stop by and have a cup of hot chocolate with us? DJ hesitated. Sure, he said, why not? All the way to Stagg's house, DJ tried to decide whether to tell Brother Paul about Sky and Cleotis. DJ hoped to have some time alone with the big lay preacher, but the Stagg family immediately went into the kitchen. They made a small talk as they seated DJ at the table with Brother Paul. Kathy took a stove burner on, or turned on a stove burner and set a small kettle over the blue flame. Her mother removed the milk carton from the bag. DJ noticed pictures of 2 kids on the side of the milk carton. They weren't the same 2 pictures he'd seen in the lady's grocery bag at the little store. DJ frowned as Mrs. Stagg opened the refrigerator door and put the milk inside. Brother Paul's deep voice rumbled pleasantly. What is it, DJ? I was just trying to think of something. Kathy took the chair opposite him. Think of what? I don't really know. Something's running around inside my head, something I can't quite put my finger on, something I'm trying to remember, Kathy teased. Well, it's good to know there's something inside that head of yours. Mrs. Stagg gave her daughter a slightly disapproving look, but DJ barely noticed. He leapt up from the table so suddenly he almost upset his chair. DJ, Mrs. Stagg exclaimed, startled. What in the world? Mind if I look in your refrigerator, please? He didn't wait for an answer, but jerked the door open. For a long moment he stared at that milk carton. Then he spun and threw out both hands in an excited gesture. That's it! DJ cried. That's it! All 3 Staggs spoke at once. What's it? DJ exclaimed. Now I know why... He stopped abruptly, remembering Sky's warning. Kathy urged, go on, DJ. Tell us what you know. Her father agreed. Yes, tell us. DJ again looked at the milk carton. There was no doubt, but slowly he raised his eyes to meet those of the stags. I can't tell you, DJ said softly. Wow. So that's the end of chapter 7. Wonder what he saw on that milk carton. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. So thanks for being with me. I want to tell you I love you. I really do. But even more importantly, God loves you and He always will. So I want to pray blessings on you and yours, in your house and out of your house, in the daytime, in the nighttime, and whatever you do, keep dreaming. Bye-bye.